Something.
Hello.
guys.
Both of you
Yeah.
are unoriginal.
But yeah.
All right, there I am.
hello,
So
hello.
that whole chat that we just had, none of it recorded the audio. That's awesome. Super great. Anyway,
I
now,
mean,
now it is.
part of it was definitely you talking about your daughter's trip, so I figured you would want that out of there anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll edit it before I send it up and chop that section out. Anyway, in summary, all of these are factions that can, in some way, shape, or form, are going to be interested in the auction, or
Interested in us.
or interested in you in positive and or negative ways. We have our newly tier 2 wreckers, and that sort of thing. And I suppose, actually, and if I didn't mention a tier on this thing, T4, T3, T4, it's because they don't functionally have a tier. It's just straight up difficulty. Or it's tier 0. Go ahead and ask, because you guys are tier 1, so that might matter. And I think I should probably have. I'm going to grab, no, not that one. I need like a tier 8 one. Okay, so I'm going to grab this one, or an 8 clock. I think this is probably kind of the core one. And we're just going to call this does that make sense? And I asked that legitimately because I don't know, but I feel like there should be some sort of thing for like making the moves that advance the actual auction and kind of wrap that thing up in addition to all the other crap happening. Or is that kind of not even necessary as we try to?
I mean, the auction, as it were, basically ends when we say it does.
True.
You're kind of following the thing. So
well, I'm thinking of it pulling it off in terms of
so
keeping keeping things on the rails, keeping gunfights from breaking out, that sort of thing. But if that doesn't make sense to be in there,
I feel like it would be better if there were a clock to say the auction blows up or something, just sort of a horrible things occur.
If we don't get something done.
Yeah, which is more of a, all right, you have this long before we have the shootout in Free Fire going on at the auction.
Sort of like this is when the hegemony jumps in and leaves.
Oh man, that would be.
That's when they get impatient. Yes.
Yes.
It's the impatience clock.
Oh, that's good. Like hegemony patience is the clock. And we have until that runs out to sell things.
I like that.
And then each tick of that clock is something bad happening that's testing their patience.
I mean, I like annoying to horrible complications, but yeah, hegemony patience is lovely. That is a lovely clock.
Hopefully we won't live to regret it.
Okay.
I will never regret it. Armin might.
So now my question is, should the hegemony patience thing be tier 3 since the hegemony is tier 3?
I don't think they need a tier for that one. It's literally, all right, the bureaucrats have come in and they've taken over the show.
Yeah. All right.
It's sort of like, it's more like, it's sort of like the rising deep, it's like when does catastrophe arise on the horizon?
All right. That sounds good to me. All right. So first of all, let's talk downtime because we've got downtime. I believe we left off with downtime. where things were going to be going. So, got to get back over to downtime activities. And what are we on, session 16? Good Lord.
Yep.
Good Lord. All right. So, if I'm not mistaken, the ship, okay, so there was a whole bunch of stuff to figure out, but I'm pretty sure the ship leveled. Is that correct?
It did.
It did. So,
And we wrapped around back to 1
we
XP on it.
yeah, we wrapped back around to 1 and we have an advance on the ship. So, that's something, and if you have something immediately handy,
The easy one, they'll make everything nice for everybody, is we pick up the insight and resolve training. That
oh,
way
the other two,
whenever anybody
whenever
that way
anybody
whenever-
trains, everybody gets bonus.
Yeah, you get 2 XP no matter what it is.
I like that. Does that cost you guys anything, like other than just the XP?
Nope, just the XP.
Where does that go?
Oh,
Do you have to increase any of the ship qualities, or is that just a thing?
nope. The auxiliary and the training and crew gear don't actually take up any of the slots.
So we just get resolve. Now, how do you guys feel about that? Just all the training is good training?
Sure.
I mean,
I never have
you haven't done training ever.
I don't have any spins to put into training usually. That's fine.
You're busy. You're busy with other things. But in any case, now the ship is. There's no penalty. There's no downsides. Train what you like.
So again, what's the effect for these?
It means that whenever you train, you get an extra tick. And
Ah.
before it was giving you an extra tick on your personal bar or your prowess, and now it's just whatever you train, you get an extra tick, because all
Right.
all aspects
Got it.
of the training are boosted by the ship.
We're really good at training.
Yep.
We have to be good at something.
Okay, so that's that taken care of. And we have all this stuff. So Armin has more down type things than anybody else, so I'm gonna
Oh.
pick on him first.
Also,
Hmm?
because we ranked up, everybody give yourself 2 ticks into stash.
Stash. I don't know if we did that last time, but I don't think we did.
We did that last time.
We did, yeah.
Okay.
We knew that was gonna happen, so yeah, I remember
Okay.
that. I do recall that.
All right. If that happened, then we're good.
Okay, so Armin, you have 3 downtime things, so why don't we start with you?
Yes, and the first one I want to do is, well, one of them is going to be I need something to blow off stress with.
Ah, yes. Indulging your vice.
Yes, and
You engage your vice and clear stress. And your vice is luxury, correct?
yes, and I want to say I would like to wrap up 2 of my downtime actions at the same time.
What is that? What is the other one?
The other one's going to be acquire an asset.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm going to, since we're in the area, I'm going to work with my friend GZ, the Memish diplomat,
Nice.
and try to get us a secure location to hold this auction at.
Nice. I like that. Secure location as an asset is awesome. Now, how do we want to spend that? You want someplace that's secure for all these people to gather, or do you want, or is this more like we're ensuring by acquiring this asset that the location of the actual goods remains secure?
I feel like we had to. This was my take on it. We kind of had to declare where our stuff was.
Yeah, that's true. You did have to stake a claim. So yeah,
I
that's
think it's more of just a, we're going to have a place that actually has, like, I don't know, metal detectors at the door and that sort of thing, as
Sure.
opposed to having an auction in a warehouse.
that works for me. Okay. So gain temporary. I don't. Is there any? Oh, roll crew. Roll. Roll crew quality. The result indicates the quality of the asset you get using the crew's quality as the base. So we are quality. Oh, so 4 or 5 gets you a tier 1, a 6 gets you a tier 2, a crit gets you a tier. And we'd be rolling the 1 die for the crew quality, correct?
+1 because I'm working with a friend.
Because you're working with a friend. Now, so I'm 100% totally down with that. Do you? How does this tie into your vice?
So
That's what I'm curious about.
I feel like this is like Armin calling up his buddy, the Memish ambassador,
Sure.
and it is, hey, we have this thing. It's going to bring in a lot of money to your place. Why don't you show me a few places this afternoon, and we can talk about, which location we're going to rent out.
So you go on like a debauchery version of a wine tasting tour.
Yeah, basically.
The ambassador. That's your.
Yes.
Very nice. I am okay with that.
All right. So
Now, okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll the crew quality. My God. Crew quality. Bleh. Words are tough today. Bloop. 4, 5. All right. So that gets us equal quality. So we have like a tier 1 secure location. Do you have anything in mind? I have something in mind, but I am not in any way, shape, or form attached to it. I kind of like it, but that's neither here nor there.
You tell me what yours is, because mine is merely like we have the option at the space equivalent of a La Quinta.
La Quinta?
I mean, it's a little bit better than that.
A highly secure La Quinta?
Yeah.
Secure is.
I mean, I'm reminded of like the old Shadowrun thing. People were talking about like if you really need to cut corners, like it wasn't McDonald's, but it was basically McDonald's. God, one of my favorite things about those
Stuffer
things.
Shack.
Yeah, the Stuffer Shack was like the McDonald's, and it was like if you need to have have a meet in a secure location, the Stuffer Shack is the place to be. And they're like, why? And I'm like, okay, dude, all the glass, all the windows in the place are bulletproof. There are bollards outside the doors that will stop an like an ATV from getting in through the front door, and all the furniture inside is too flimsy to provide cover from gunfire, so nobody will start a fight in there because they've got no cover. It's the safest place to have a meet because nobody has any kind of protection and nobody can bring in heavy firepower in. My God, am I drunk and no one told me? Damn.
I mean, if you are,
So
I think you should know.
Yeah, the La Quinta's. I was thinking like
a Marriott Garden Inn.
Okay. What I was actually thinking was a lightly defended, like super pontoon, like a monster yacht, like literally floating in the ocean space above the claim area. So you've got like, a half.
That brings those things in the deep up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what could go wrong?
I mean, it's not fun if they awake, but you're 4 zip codes away. That's not useful to me. But aside from that, just I kind of like the idea of like, it's kind of out there. There's probably like a half dozen like anti-aircraft, anti-aircraft howitzer kind of emplacements around the thing. The whole thing's about the size of a football field, half a football field. A Quidditch pitch? I don't know.
A good size convention
A
center.
good size, yeah, and basically just like an open. There's like the central structures on the thing, um, different places to gather. Lots of like, it's kind of meant for these big, outworlders to come in and feel like they're on an ocean world without actually, having to.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, to speak to the tier, somewhat flimsy. The waterborne defenses are negligible at best. Like if something decided to come up underneath, really doesn't have a lot. And for the Memish to overlook something like that, it has to be intentional. In the original design, if not on the part of your diplomat and that sort of thing. So it certainly could be worse. It definitely could be better in about a half dozen easily. I mean, the doctor could name 6 different ways this place could be more secure, and it's not as though that's his expertise. Anyway, how did the shopping excursion go for you? Speaking of removing your vice.
That's a great question. It went horribly.
Oh, it really did. So you got 3. Was it get rid of your 3-year stress?
Uh-huh.
You had more than 3.
What's that?
I said you had more than 3.
Oh yeah, I got 5 still.
Oh jeez. Okie dokie. That's a thing.
Not as relaxing as you hoped it would be.
Yeah.
So
I might have gone off the handle at him a few times about, this is the best you can give me.
and they, I picture at least at one point in time like slapping a watered down Bahama Mama out of his hand, like, quit handing me drinks and get me something that's going to keep us alive. The Starsmiths Guild are going to be here, and they are not going to be cheerful. I need something better than an airport hotel, Holiday Inn. Space Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn? No. Decide what you want to do with your last one, because there's a couple different things kind of clamoring for your attention.
Oh, there definitely
Your
is.
your nascent nobility.
I feel the best plan is not to be freaking the hell out.
Well, and
whenever we have that.
You've got the stress. You got the stress that's still there. You got a wound. Well, mental. You got light PTSD. I say inaccurately, but for all intents and purposes, little light shock to deal with. So lots of stuff clamoring for your attention as far as that goes. Meanwhile, hey Kay, what do you got going on?
First off, I'm gonna lock myself in the closet, which is the only place where you have privacy in here, and I'm gonna be going through all of the hours and hours of footage, frame by frame, and working to write up my initial paper. Right, because remember, I have to publish before anybody else sees this shit.
You need I feel like there's an academic. I feel like there's an academic precedent for this, and I'm not going to know the terminology for it, but when you're publishing these academic papers, if you don't have the 250-page treatise ready, you can establish your bona fides and your sort of mark your territory with the
First, it's going to be a letter to the editor,
the summary,
right, kind of a thing. Yeah, because you have to have something that goes out, because the peer review.
Yeah, the press. There you go. Thank you. The
peer review takes way too much time. So you got to get your first thing out there, and then you got to at the same time you're submitting your peer review stuff, and
But the first thing is to get out the you get out the white page, the white paper that's 2 pages of actual text. An additional page of literally nothing but footnotes not footnotes in text, but the footnote notations, and then there's 6 more pages of like the links to document, links to external documentation that the footnotes are referring to. So yeah, the actual what you're saying is 2 pages. Everything else is, and that's you claiming territory. All the footnotes are claiming territory on what is to come.
Those 2 pages take me, about.
Oh, the cross-referencing alone is a nightmare.
But I think that this sort of, actually suits my both weird and pleasure in
That sure
the,
sounds like a vice to me.
seeking artifacts and exploring the way. I think it's a nice combination of the two there.
I am fine with it being an indulge the vice because you kind of burn away. I mean, for many people this would cause stress, but
No, the stress is not having it down on paper.
oh, so it's stressful all the way through, but then when you send it, it's like
So hitting send is worth. Let's see.
So you hit your indulge device thing and then see where we're at.
1. I have 1 die.
It rolls your worst stat. Well, your worst insight prowess resolve, so it only gives you the 1. Which appropriately is.
Well, that's right, because Armin has an extra 1 because he's special.
No, he's got.
He's particularly viceful.
I go and do mine with my friends.
Oh, he got a bonus dice because of his thing. Now, I don't know that we didn't really consider that, but you didn't really have a friend necessarily.
Well, unless I do it with Frim.
Does he count as a friend? Did we put him down as one of your friends?
Yes, he's the weird old friend, the frimiest of all, or something.
Oh my god.
I need to add him onto my list.
I think
I
the craziest of friends.
Oh, he's in the ship. He's in the ship friends.
Yep.
Bounty hunter, ship mechanic, moneylender, info broker. Yeah. I don't know if it's fair to do devil's bargains. Let's just say,
Monster willing to do proofreading.
I will give you an extra dice for Frem, but
you want me to roll? Just
roll
Roll another one.
Yeah, just roll 1 more dice. See how it comes out. It's possible it won't be any better. There's a 1 in 6 chance that Frem does not help you in any way, shape, or form. But go right ahead.
I feel like in actuality, there's.
There's a non-zero chance he makes it worse. That is really okay. So
is that a critical one?
It's a.
Oh.
We're just we'll move you stressed out. Hey, the upside. Look at the bright side. You've got.
I already did.
Oh, you moved it. You moved it down 1. Well, you still have. I think if not
4.
less.
I'm still better than Armin.
Oh, wait, you're at 4 right now. Yeah, you should
4.
be. Yeah. You're still better off than Armin. So there's that. Yeah, Frem is remarkably knowledgeable, and even more remarkably, absolutely unworkable as a research partner. He is. Yeah. It's kind of. It's like having the 10th and 11th Doctor trying to do an academic paper together. That's not even a good example, but it's no, not good, not good at all. But the groundwork has been laid, so I will throw out there that as your second thing, it certainly, could train. You could, which certainly plays right into that thing. You could establish a long-term project with regards to the academic findings of this thing. That wouldn't even be a very long clock. That might be kind of a fun thing to do. So think about that. We'll loop around to you. Drifter, what do you got going?
If I heard correctly, when you indulge vice, if you involve one of the people on your friends list, you get the bonus die, right?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to mix two of my downtime actions together then.
Ooh.
One of the fast friends for the pilot is Yatu, a gang boss. And one of the downtime activities I can now do is in port doing odd jobs. Gain 1 cred. If there are rumors floating about, the GM will tell you of them. So what Drifter wants to do is to get a sense of what the underworld is making of this recent announcement or all the activity that we're undergoing to sort of prepare for this. He's not going to leak any information unless Armin says, but he's going to go to the assorted gambling dens and dens of vice and other sorts of places that the gangs will run or the organized crime will run, and while he's playing, he'll kind of feel out what's going on. So the note says, if there are any rumors floating around, the GM will tell you of them.
Right. So one of your downtime will be the side job thing, and the other downtime is indulging your vice, and they're all kind of rolled into that same deal through Yatu, the gang boss, who gives you a bonus dice. That is lovely and some great groundwork stuff. So yeah, let's do that. Give yourself your bonus. Well, your bonus dice is going to get you up to 1, which is nice. And hey, that 1 dice comes up a little bit higher than Bay's, that's for sure, which drops your stress by all of it. That was a very good. That was a very good situation for Drifter. Okay.
Is this another session where I just refuse to roll the dice now?
I hope not. So Drifter picks up a cred from the odd jobs. You were doing like delivery jobs and kind of just like low end, local stuff. Is that the basic idea?
Like he's probably for purposes of this, he's probably carrying stuff from place to place where he's picking up these rumors. So he might even be acting as kind of a courier of ill-gotten gains or something similar to that.
Sure. And also just kind of, and you're not really, I mean, no one really knows. You're just the delivery guy. No one's really paying attention. So nobody's really tracking, like, this is a guy who's perhaps closely tied into the, because that's the talk around the planet is big archaeological find, a lot of big money coming into the place. People are talking about that kind of stuff. Rumors would be, let's take a look at what we got back here. I'm trying to think about the rumors that you would, that like, because some of this stuff isn't going to vibrate at the levels that you're operating at. Let me look. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to say that what I'm leaning toward here is that what you catch wind of is basically absolute confirmation that the Counters Guild are sending some people after Armin, and more importantly, your ship. I don't mean that by the collective you, just sort of like that would be the part that you would be paying attention to, and not like assassins coming to put a bullet in his head randomly. They want to bring him back and make an example out of him. And that is definitely, they don't necessarily have any other friends in this fight as far as any of that goes, but the talk is definitely that, I don't know, he did something to piss him off, or he used to, their main spokesperson used to be one of them. So they've got some kind of, the way it's being told is the Counters Guild, there's a rogue. What was your job, Armin? Like from an outsider's point of view?
Executive assistant.
Yeah. So there's a rogue executive from the Counters Guild who's put all this thing together, and apparently he arranged this. We're going to play a little game of telephone here. He managed to arrange this by stealing some stuff from the Counters Guild that told him where this wreck was at, and so they're coming after him. To haul him back in and make an example out of him, and probably try to invalidate the whole auction or something like that. So again, game of telephone, not actually probably, but the way it's being told is, this is a rogue member of the Counters Guild who's using Counters Guild intel used Counters Guild intel to like find this thing, something like that, and they're pissed off about it. The reality is somewhat different, but yeah, definitely they're that's not a possible risk. It's a definite risk. Something to
I'll pass that along.
Put away and think about. All right, dude, that's both of Drifters. Monster.
Alrighty.
Everybody has stress, it seems like. Oh my God, Monster has a lot of stress.
I have a lot of stress. That's why I'm going to find a friend.
Find a friend.
Monster
And hey,
wonders.
I'll say if you come along with me, you get the +or-2 bonus to dealing with stress too.
Krieger is a nice friend
Oh,
too.
I forgot about that. Is that, I gotta remember. So if you recall, Drifter has when you indulge your vice, you may adjust the dice outcome by +or-2. An ally who joins you may do the same. And he's going to be in nasty.
I probably need to do that.
Yeah,
then, given how far in the hole I am.
Well, he's in nasty little places, lots of places to get in fist fights and eat unhealthy things.
Okay, I'll save this fine idea for next time.
Okay. Is there a way to combine it?
I suppose it could be. I was going to wander in some little dive to find something interesting to eat and find my dear old friend Chonzek there.
And wreck the entire place? You're having fun and Chonzek's trying?
Not necessarily, unless he chooses to do that. He's the one that usually attacks first.
I will say that this works just fine because I'm going to dives. This is the place where I'm going.
Yeah.
And a bounty hunter would definitely show up at such places if there's a bounty to be had, which it sounds like the Counters Guild has an interest in.
I think that definitely sounds like a good idea.
I love the idea in this of, you're going in to eat. You see Chonzek. He's there to get information about his actual target, who's not you, but he knows is on your thing. It's just a bonus thing. He's hoping that you're going to defend this person with his life, with your life, rather, because then he can get back into that. You're like, oh, thank God, somebody who can actually fight. Somebody can have a proper Donnybrook with. He's trying to.
Old friend Chonzek!
And you throw a chair at him, in greeting. He is, fighting to capture somebody to gather information, and you're basically giving him the monster version of a barroom hug, while which I absolutely adore. Okay, so the upshot of that is, because again, you're working at a bit of a disadvantage. Your insight is nothing. So the one dice lets you roll one dice, which is good because it's better than rolling two and taking the crappier roll. Although, as
by default, one die is always the crappier roll.
Well, I don't know. Two dice and taking the worst one is really bad. Although taking two dice and taking the best one didn't help Margie that much either. So dice are dice. They're fickle creatures. So go ahead and do your indulge vice button there in the middle of your character sheet, but then take an extra bonus dice for bringing in Chonzek, and let's wreck a bar.
And I'm sorry. So is there anything I get for doing this?
Pot
company?
so you because you're using Chanzek, that gives you an extra dice, which gets you up to 1.
Okay.
And then bleh, Drifter's thing lets you then add or subtract 2 from your roll.
Okay.
So absolute
So-
worst case scenario, at least you're going to be able to knock off 3 stress, even if
So
you're
I'm
rolling
adding
1.
on a bonus die,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
And that should give you
And
4,
the surveys. That's woo.
which gets you up to a 6, which lets you take most of it off. Yeah, all but 1. So just for the added color of it, because Drifter is a bit of a hedonist here, is it what aspect of this makes this even more satisfying for Monster that was something that sort of Drifter's activities or is it just that you found the perfect dive bar for this kind of thing, or dive bar / sushi hot sauce, or
in addition to the interesting combinations of food that arise when like tables are being, smashed into each other. I have the particular pleasure of introducing Drifter to my dear old friend Chanzek. I have known this guy for as long as I have been,
in this
in
sector.
space.
Yeah, that's amazing.
By introduce, I feel as though it really means throw him at him.
Is it obvious to Drifter that Chanzek's interpretation of current events in the bar is very different than Monster's?
The frothing in the mouth and the spittle flying in all directions might be an indication.
Well, I'm more asking Drifter, like.
I think everyone else is different from Monster's interpretation of events. So.
Yeah, for anybody else, it's very clear this guy is like he's taking this thing deadly serious, and Monster's kind of like Oliver Platt in the Three Musketeers. Like he's like chest bumping people into over bars and various things. I've always liked the way they had him fight in that. It was always so anyway. All right. So that's at least one of your things. We will circle back, think about what you've done and what you will want to do next. Hey son. What's going on?
Hey.
Hey. What's up?
Hey, son.
I'm gonna have a fun time.
Are you? Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
I'm gonna have
Are you also pub crawling, or are you just gonna like go back and have a fun time all by your lonesome in a ship's hammock? Are you pub crawling along with? I love how the fact like the well-educated doctor is the one that's most frequently tagging along with like the ones who are in like the seediest areas.
It's also educational.
I hadn't been thinking about it since I figured it wouldn't be good to get, high when we're celebrities, but if Drifter and Monster are there.
Yeah, it's practically like having bodyguards. I think I don't see anything.
No, I don't have anything.
An ally who joins you may do. I'm gonna misread that to say any ally who joins you may do the same, because really, I don't think it should be limited to 1. That seems needlessly petty for the hedonist thing. And we've established Drifter's taking you to all the worst places, all the best worst places. So in any case, go. Okay, where's the dock at? Oh man, you are. Well, you don't even need the book, man. You've got your stats spread out in a way that makes indulging your vice. You're very effective at indulging your vice, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That is entirely on brand. So why don't you go ahead and give yourself a roll?
No bonus dice? Yeah.
There's no bonus dice because I don't think you have any of your friends necessarily involved, but you still roll in 2, which is better than
Yeah.
most. Which, to be fair, wow. Sometimes the DNA of the parents really comes through.
It really does.
Thank you.
Rude.
That still gets you. Thankful for Drifter's influence though. That still gets you 4 off though, because you can add 2 to that, so that gets you down to 2, which I have just done.
Awesome.
So that gets you, yeah. Yep, you've got your own little cocktails, but some of the cocktails that
Yeah.
are provided are also,
I won't say no to that.
yeah, some of the cocktails that are provided to you are also quite effective.
You cut out for me.
Anybody else hearing me? Not hearing me?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, some of the, I mean, you brought your own cocktails, but many of the other cocktails are also effective. I'm going to put you guys on mute for just a second. I need to talk to my very excited daughter. One moment. My wife is spoiling our daughter, so she had to come and tell me about how she was being spoiled. I am not being spoiled. I am moving on. Actually, we're at the bottom of the list. So, son, what other activity did you wish to engage in as a downtime activity while all this stuff is going on?
I wanted to do some training.
Okay. What are you wishing to train? I don't know. That just happens.
Yeah.
And conveniently, whatever you choose to train, rather than getting 1 tick in, you get 2 ticks in because the ship is giving you bonuses to everything, which is awesome.
We love the ship.
I love this ship.
I was gonna train in Resolve.
Okay. Well, then give yourself 2
Um,
ticks in resolve, and we're off to the races. There you go. So, what's that look like? Is it more, because I'm looking at the thing, it's aside from Attune, which is more of a way thing, but Command, Consort, Sway, a lot of social stuff. Is it you just getting better at dealing with random people? I mean, is it the socializing as you're out there amongst the people as opposed to
Oh no, I said the wrong one.
was it not Resolve?
No, 1 second. Sorry.
That's fine.
Scrolling through the thing. No, it's it's not me. Well, in a way, it's me getting better at socializing. Specifically, Sway.
Okay.
With my experience with Armin in this ship.
Oh, so you've been taking notes on him putting all this crap together?
No. I've been working on my charming bedside manner.
Have you now? Really?
Yeah, as we've been going around, chatting with people.
Your charming bedside manner, eh? I think Armin might have a few critiques about that charming bedside manner, but
Only a bit.
Who am I?
I'm making it better for the next time something happens.
Fine. Okay.
The less time this way I'm better, and then the less time I spend talking to people, the happier all of us are.
I don't think that even yet the doctor fully grasps how being social works. It's like, I just have to, I need to get better at this, so I spend less time actually talking to people.
People are annoying.
It's not how socializing works. Okay, so
there's a reason why Armin is the social person.
We are looped back to Monster for a downtime thing. A downtime thing, Bob.
Yes. Monster's actually second downtime thing is going to almost be the opposite of his first one.
Okay.
Although actually I'll tie it together.
All right.
Monster leaves the bar really, really happy, feeling very in touch with
Who he
with
is
things,
as a person.
having had this delightful encounter with
An old
Chan
friend.
Zek, and leaving him resting comfortably inside of the drink fridge. He's just really happy about this, and that kind of gives him some insight into kind of maybe bigger things. And I think one of the things that he wants to do, he wants to bump up his resolve. And in particular, thinking about all the work he's been doing with attunement and stuff like that, just kind of like having that broader sense of the world around him, tying in with both what he's been doing with these keys, and kind of seeing how that actually sort of relates to this very joyful experience he's had meeting an old friend across time and space.
Right. Did you already put those ticks in there? Or are they still to come?
I have not.
Well, that puts you up. That taps out your resolve and lets you.
That taps out my resolve.
Lets you raise your attune.
Lets me raise my attune.
Lovely. You have become closer to the universe. I'm sure the key that you've been carrying around in your hip pocket for the last week and a half had very little to do with your greater awareness of the way.
No, actually, it's kind of terrified of the fact that I'm becoming more attuned. So,
Drifter took care of both of his in one swell foop. And K, you have one still waiting.
So really we were down to two thoughts. One was to actually study or to actually train,
right,
which I've never done before, or to start a project around publishing this. What would be the in-game result of this? Because a lot of the projects are around things like, building this or
accomplishing this thing. I would think.
Do you want a suggestion?
Yeah. My first thought off the top of my head is that it establishes, like it'll establish your bona fides with a faction and like strengthen your like it's a way to strengthen a relationship with a faction without actually going through the rigmarole of this many missions or something like that. So you'd basically be in publishing this, you would and I would specifically say it would be for the Cult of the Seekers. So you would basically they happen to be, I need to look at this real quick. Systems and factions. The Cult of the Seekers is currently level 1 with you. Basically, it's a way to move yourself up to level 2 friendliness with them without having to do a mission for them. That's my thought. Whether or not that really trips your trigger or anything like that, that is my initial thought, because they are, and this is again the cult that's they became like more of a official cult in the area because, or a recognized cult because the mother of the current hegemon is a member of the cult. So they got sort of
legitimate.
They got legitimate by association. So they have some pull. They're not the biggest thing out there, but as far as the religious cults go, they're certainly influential, and they're relatively. They're as far as the various way cults go, they're some of the least objectionable.
It's crazy.
Yeah, their thing is
doesn't include blowing up stars.
No, it doesn't. Cult of the Seekers, wandering mystics studying artifacts and exploring, looking to open the Hantu Gate. So yeah, members include the Hegemom's mother. They have a small island with the research station on Mem. Uh, and also a dig site on the desert in Shemaya. Is Shemaya where? Yeah, Shemaya is where Armin's trying to get a baronhood, isn't it?
Barony.
Yeah, Shemaya. So they have a dig site on the in the desert in Shemaya, and a small research station on Mem. Uh, extensive guild schematics of other gates, which one wonders how they got their hands on them. Hegemonic sanction to retrieve artifacts, a large stockpile of artifacts. Many of the cult are ex-51st Legionnaires. So that's a fun little thing. And that have been personally drafted by the Hegemon's mother and inspired by the cause. So there's other stuff going on there. They're the ones that are aware of you because of stuff that's going on that you're not really aware of.
That we're aware of. Yeah.
So I mean they could certainly warm up to you even more. They're not exactly, I wouldn't call them warm to you, but you're certainly on their radar as a potentially useful pawn. And they are
better than the other opposite, right?
Yeah, and or something. You're on their radar for reasons which are not yet aware of. So that would be what the project would do. But the project itself, I think, would probably be pretty short. I would think it would probably be. I'm going to call it a 4 o'clock. So I don't know that you could crit it. I don't think you could finish it in one go, but you could do it.
You haven't seen me pull an all-nighter, have you?
It's possible. I can't remember. Yeah.
You know, talking about this, I keep thinking of the Tom Lehrer song about plagiarize. You know,
plagiarize.
Don't shade your eyes. Plagiarize.
So when working on a long-term project, describe what your character does to advance the project clock, roll an action, and it's just it would be based on your study in this case, probably. Mark segments on the clock according to your result. If you get a 1 to 3, 1 segment. 4 to 5 is 2, 6 is 3, and a critical is 5. So if you manage to crit, although I don't think your study is a 2, so you wouldn't, crit's not really on the table as an option, but yeah, because it would be based on study. But I mean, yeah, I mean it's a 4 o'clock, so it's probably not a huge thing to wrap up.
And I think, did you have a suggestion? Was it Mike that had some?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yes, please, that's just my idea.
Yeah, my other thought was, much like some of us have unusual things on our gear list, it could be an acquire asset to add minor fame.
Oh yeah, I like that, minor fame. Alternately, in the same way that Armin is, oh, I kind of like this. Where's that one university that we like? Isn't like over on like a
The one that I'm at, I belong to, that I would teach at, theoretically.
Yeah, I mean, if you teach at, I mean, you're at least like where you graduate or something. I was thinking like a tenured position, or what do they call that? The scholar in residence or something like that. Kind of deal. So some sort of like in the same way that Armin's like got this nobility thing. It's obviously smaller, in terms of like what it actually sort of represents, but within your realm, a larger deal. So yeah, like a tenured thing, or my academic fame. That would be like Armin's idea, or sorry, Mike's idea there with having like as one of your like special items, academic fame as one of those nicely like takes up 0 space things that you could just check off and say, I'm going to use my academic fame, if it makes sense to do so. So that could be a thing. I like that too.
I actually kind of like that one better because it's a little more versatile.
Yes. Well, yeah, you can leverage that in like whenever it makes sense. I like it. So yeah, this would be a 4 o'clock to get you academic fame.
Recognition.
Academic recognition. So, and then basically you just give me a study roll to tell me where we start off on that thing.
Standard
Yep, everything is
or risky?
for this kind of thing. Everything is normal. So yeah,
Make it desperate. Make it desperate.
Good.
It is.
Get XP.
I know.
I think they don't really have difficulties on these particular rolls. So the study of 4, if I remember right, gets you, where are we at here? Long-term project 4 gets you 2 on the clock. So I will get it someplace that makes more sense later, but for right now, we will say we're going to paste that in over here. And
Let's beat out the Awakening the Deep. Thank you.
there we go. And we will save those changes to academic glory for K. Did I spell that right? Yeah, I did. Cool. I like it. Who we have left? Armin. You have one left.
Yes.
What are you doing? What's going on?
I feel like at this point, Armin just, after everything else before this big thing, Armin's gonna take a little bit of time, get like himself situated and like clear his head and just try to get over everything before he goes out and does this whole auction thing.
Okay. Is that trying to clear your
Yeah, it's a recovery.
recovery?
Yeah, it's only a tier 1, so I'm getting rid of it no matter what.
That's true. When you recover, you seek treatment and heal your harm. You might visit a doctor who can stitch your wounds. Roll crew quality -1 to see how available and effective the doctor you can hire is, but doesn't really matter since it's just a 1. We don't really even need the doc to roll anything because it just when you receive treatment from the recover action, clear all level 1 harm. The end.
Although, if we brought the doctor and he could practice on his bedside manner.
I think Armin's already experienced his bad side manner. My puns are only because I can't seem to talk tonight, but that's a pretty good one, nevertheless. Other doctors have bedside manner. Son has bad side manner. Yeah, so Armin, you just basically clear the thing. Easy peasy. All right. Downtime as usual, half the session. I mean, I can make fun of this, but in my defense, I filled. Can I just brag for a sec? Because this was awesome. I filled half of a 4-hour mask session with literally the rules for one homemade move for superpowered musical chairs during gym class.
Nice.
It was spectacular. Many, many chairs died during the filming of that scene. So many of them. Because, of course, the gym guy brought in like the flimsiest plastic garden chairs he possibly could and then told them not to break any of them.
Is that part of the rules? Like, is there penalty?
There was, I think everybody ended up, like, anybody who broke a chair ended up owing the gym teacher $8 per chair. And it ended up with Kaylee's character, essentially the bull like NPC, and this will be a shout back to City of Heroes, a combat person that she looks up to immensely, a girl by the name of Otterpop, who was sort of like, ice powers and stuff, ice powers and melee and that kind of thing. I've got a fantastic picture for her. That Kaylee's character secretly absolutely idolizes. The 3 of them in the second to last round that turned into the last round when the gym teacher melted one of the 2 chairs and said, okay, 3 on 1, go. And they ended up destroying the chair in the process and scrambling after who could grab the largest piece of it to claim victory, and having it being declared a 3-way draw. So, yeah, good stuff. Anyway, so, I don't know, downtime takes a half. Musical chairs takes half a session. You know, whatever. Totally worth it. Anyway, all right. So we have a pontoon. What's the diplomat's name, Armin? What's his name?
Jezzy. It's on my sheet.
Right. I'm not close enough to the screen yet. I need to. Okay. Jezzy. Jizzy. Sure. Fine. Okay. So the groundwork's been laid. Thank God for this. The groundwork's been laid. I think certainly involve, how the thing has all been started up here. We're doing basically a social job, negotiating, bargaining, persuading.
Oh boy.
So Jesse is involved in setting this thing up. Is he the social connection that this thing kind of swings off of, or are we like, how does the word get out? Like, what is he that is he your official go-between, and by keeping him as a memish diplomat and like sort of an official government official, as an official government official, is that your sort of layer of insulation from people getting up to too many hijinks, or what is the?
I feel that works.
Is that basically works for me? So the engagement role, let's run down through this. Is the operation particularly bold or daring? Yes. You're trying to... I mean, this is my personal judgment, but the fact that you guys are like...
Trying to sell off a giant ship.
Warship.
Within the realm of the Procyon sector, this is like a kid who up until this point in time has largely been confined to running and or knocking over other 8-year-olds' lemonade stands, walking into the Wall Street Stock Exchange and announcing, in the middle of a rush that, shouting "sell" in the middle of the floor. You're definitely.
I think you're underplaying this. It's more like
I'm underplaying.
I feel like this is more of like a Wall Street guy who got fired and went to jail for securities fraud, coming back into the Wall Street Stock Exchange and yelling "sell."
Yeah, ballsy, stupid, but ballsy.
It's trading places.
Yeah,
it's like they're walking in and doing this stuff while all the institutional powers are against them.
So, is this operation particularly bold or daring? Take a dice. I don't think overly complex, really. It is contingent on many factors.
It has a lot of moving parts.
It does. It does have a lot of moving parts. I almost feel like this whole thing is a wash. I'm sticking with the bold or daring. There are a lot of moving parts. Does the plan's detail expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? No, this is money with, involving the people who have all the money. Do they have particular defenses or special preparations?
Oh.
We have a secure yacht.
No, I'm talking about whether
they have all the money.
They have. It's whether or not the target, which is kind of everybody, has special preparations. Yeah, pretty much.
I want to offer a different perspective on the hit them where they're weakest question.
Okay.
They have all the money. What we have is something that money here until now can't buy.
Can't buy. Yeah.
Hitting with the weakest. This is literally
Like
unique.
How many of these groups have been jonesing for just such a thing?
Like we've got the ace card. Somebody's going to walk away from this table with that ace card, but nobody's going to start shooting first because otherwise they're going to risk.
Yeah, then they're in a I mean,
Then
if you
everyone
look,
else shoots back at them.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of tier 4s up here with guns. Like if you look at this screen. Okay, I'll buy that. I will buy that. That is an extra. That is probably an extra. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Yes.
We brought in the mob boss earlier for Underworld contacts. I'd like to nominate them.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I like that actually because we've got the diplomat is sort of your in, but the fact that the mob boss is also involved, but kind of on the down low, is the unexpected, like ace in the hole. You know what I mean?
The wreckers would expect it, but none of the more legit buyers are going to expect it.
Yeah. And
There-
if
There is Bounty Hunter who is good friend who can provide insight in between inarticulate howls.
I'm not sure if that one counts. So yeah, definitely friends or contacts that apply. Are there any other elements that you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give you maybe a higher tier target. They're all higher tier targets. So I feel like I need to at least take a die off because they're just, I mean, there isn't a player on the board who isn't higher tier than you guys. And many of them are quite a bit higher tier than you guys. And the one that's closest in your tier, the two that are closest to your tier are the two that like you. So, so yeah, it's like, well, these two big fish, yeah, they're not that big. Okay, so we're 1 up, 2 up, 3 up. So that's 4 dice minus 1 for 3 dice on the engagement roll for just seeing how this thing gets launched up. Things I'm likely to have spin off from this might be the wreckers making a move. Hegemony patience is going to like have ripple effects basically on other stuff as people start to do crazy things. So basically, as the hegemony patience clock fills up, other factions are going to do things that reflect on why the hegemony patience is dwindling.
Yes, sir.
For the first, what's the? I forget what the term is.
Engagement roll.
Well, no, the engagement roll. If we do well, we could get past the first bit of things.
The first bit of things.
And I feel like the first bit of things would be getting everybody in the door without either somebody coming in with like guns or causing some sort of ruckus or something like that.
I think
trying to steal it from under the ocean.
We start with everybody having been, for all intents and purposes, peaceably assembled on a pontoon that is fragile enough that everybody is basically at equal amounts of risk by being on the giant pontoon. If we don't skip past that, we probably have some saber rattling, somebody who refuses to come down because somebody else has got a gun pointed at the place, somebody else like trying to flex, etc.
We're going to have some boat rocking.
So, oh god, really? You try. See, this is why he never stops, is you encourage him.
Don't rock the boat.
It's terrible. So yeah.
Only very occasionally, so it has a greater impact.
That's actually probably true. Anyway, so yeah. And I would say, since it was originally Mike's idea to do this auction in the first place, I would have him roll the engagement roll.
Oh, I am perfectly fine with that. So it's 3 dice, right?
That is 3 dice, correct.
All right.
Bloop. Let me get back over there and look at the save. What do we got here?
Thanks, Mike.
Yahtzee.
I gotta look. I haven't seen Yahtzee. Ooh. Okay. Alrighty then. So, thinking. All right. So let's just go over here and change a couple of clocks.
I believe we start off in a desperate situation.
I believe we start off in a desperate situation, and I think I have a pretty good idea as to what that
Looks like.
desperate situation looks like. What do I want that to be? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna call that a 3. The Wreckers are very happy about this. The hegemony is not. So I'm just calling out in case you guys aren't necessarily seeing which clocks move. The hegemonic patience fills up a little bit. The Wreckers fill up. What's that? No, fills up in sense of think of that as a clock you don't want to fill.
0 to 3 ticks.
Yeah, it jumped.
That's a jump.
Yeah. Well, 3 is, it was a big fail. The Wreckers are moving. There's more arbitrary because it's how they perceive their pursuit of the thing. There's a tiny little tick in the Starbreakers, but that's more kind of off stage because they have stuff that they have going on here, and they're using this as sort of a little bit of cover to do things. They're trying to be subtle, which should terrify everybody involved. So we begin with, let's see, who's playing nicely? The Cult of the Seekers. The Cult of the Seekers have sent down representatives to the, and there's assorted other like not shown here factions who have sort of players in the game kind of, but they're not like major players. They're not people who legitimately are probably going to bring a real bid for this kind of stuff that are also present. And the actually, I'm gonna think I can find this. Let me look up. I think I showed you this. There we go. I know I showed you this picture. So, because we had kind of established what the dreadnought looked like. And I am going to reshare this image so we can get it up where we can all see it. It should be in chat there.
Nice.
So it's not this close to the water surface, but it's about at the bottom of it is about at rain cloud height, thunderhead height, the bottom of it. So yeah, towering thunderheads got nothing on this thing. I can't remember what the scale on this thing, but it's kilometers high. Can't remember what. Anyway, as the people begin to assemble, the Wreckers, you didn't even know it could do this, bring their newly functional dreadnought, which you provided the engines for, into upper, we'll call it middle atmosphere, 30,000 feet. Still quite easily visible from where you are. And announce, well, actually, they don't announce anything initially because we're going to start right there. So they've dropped in, and they may be up high, but they are, geometrically speaking, directly over the point of the gathering. Okay? They are obviously, I mean, for all you can basically imagine them inhaling at this point in time to make their demands. or they might actually be doing it at this point in time, but there is such a cacophony of outraged protestation and shouts.
Mocking?
Yeah, well, shouts of revenge. I mean, you can mock all you want. I mean, in the
I
grand
said
scheme,
gawking.
yeah, gawking,
Gawk.
gawking. But and also, because the thing is, in any kind of protracted thing, they're not going to win. They have a big ship. They have one big ship. A lot of these guys could really ruin their day in the long term. But they're making their play right now, and their play is bid for whatever you want to. We want the guns. And we're not inclined to ask nicely because we've got the biggest guns around right now. And I want the shadow to be straight down because it's like at high noon or something like that. But I'm not gonna. But yeah, Armin, you guys basically on the platform down there, or maybe not. I don't know where everybody's at. Maybe Drifter's flying low orbit stuff to address or be ready for fast extraction or something like that. But anyway, that is the desperate situation that we drop ourselves into, is the Wrecker's Dreadnought in geosynchronous orbit, basically over top of this thing's ready for basically massively overkill orbital bombardment on this thing if they don't get what they want. And given that you've got reps from the hegemony here, or sorry, not the hegemony, the Cult of the Seekers, the ripples of anything bad that happens on this thing, I mean, you won't be around to really experience them. Could be quite massive if they decide to just shoot the platform. Yes. Does that sound like a desperate situation?
Yeah. I feel like I need to get involved here.
This is where you see all of us simultaneously do the palm, face plant. It's like these are our friends.
Well,
Yeah,
relatively
they're not threatening
speaking.
us, they're threatening other people.
Yeah, you just happen
They're raining on my parade.
I mean, yes, they are threatening other people. However, they're threatening them with a gun barrel that you could drive into, and you're standing next to them. So the fact that they're threatening other people doesn't, at the same time, not make it personal. A little bit. It's hard not to take it personal because that barrel's pointed at really kind of all of you. What do you do, hotshot? No. Anyway. Sorry, I got to get out of this noisy room. All right, so what do we do? What do we do?
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So they're making this threat.
Yes.
Do what we want, or we will shoot you.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Are they lying?
Are they lying?
Is this bluster?
Ooh. This is one of your moves, I take it. Or one of your
I always
abilities?
know when somebody is lying to me.
I always know when somebody is lying to me. That is a heady statement. That's right, you're a player. Drifter, where are you right now? Is the ship, let me put this another way. Is the ship there, or is the ship somewhere else and you're with it? Where are you?
Can the ship actually function underwater in any capacity?
Given a couple of the at least a week that you've had to do some retrofits and stuff like that, yeah, you can do, like, it's not permanent, but you could do some temporary seals that would the ships seal differently versus vacuum than ocean. But yeah, you could do some changes that would allow it to use the gravitic thrusters underwater, not the actual, like, ion jets and stuff. But
well, then we're taking advantage of that skiff's vulnerability and making sure that we're under the water. And if our team needs to evacuate, we can deal with everybody else. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This also means that I'm not an immediate target because you got to, like,
Yeah.
run drive sensors through water to find me.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. No, they're not. It's hard to tell what the hell their move is, but they're not going to shoot this platform. The amount of cosmic shit that would land on them would utterly obliterate them if they actually took a shot at this, and they can't logically expect people to like immediately bow down and just give them a bunch of weapons. So the question is, I mean, maybe they do logically expect that. They're wreckers, so it's kind of like, salvaging is sort of their deal. But it seems a little uneven on that. So it's something. They're making some kind of move, but whatever move it is, it isn't like actually what they're asking for. And they're not probably prepared to shoot.
Okay. So I think
I'm sorry. Does this have the feel of the other cult within the cult, or within the? I mean, this sounds more militant, more ballsy, like what they might do, or is it just?
It's. I mean, up until this point, the wreckers really haven't been like super militant. So yes, at first blush, it sounds like a much more thing. Now they've been sort of quietly, just sort of salvaging. Their most violent thing that they do is they sort of arrange for people, like they sort of like they kind of do a last man standing thing where they get two factions to punch each other and then they like pick up the pieces afterwards because if we can't find salvage, we'll make salvage the old-fashioned way by having two different people shoot at each other. But they haven't really been into direct conflict very much. Now maybe they've got their dreadnought going, and now they're like, oh, we're big and tough now, so we get to stop playing, the long subtle game. But their entire ship has got people on it, lots of people, families. So for them to waltz this in here and do this with, that on the line, it's very, yeah. I mean, it's either a big bluff that isn't got anything to do with what they're shouting about, or the Starbreakers have a lot more pull than you originally read. Flashback, we sabotaged the Dreadnought engine before handing it over. That idea has some legs. I kind of like that.
I'm not doing it yet, but I'll keep it in my back pocket.
Yeah, if we have to go for like a more desperate situation, that might be our ace in the hole. It's like, whoa, they're not going to shoot us. I have their targeting computer right here.
So you can,
I took it out before we gave them the ship.
Yeah,
ultimately we have we've set up some sort of remote control on the guns on the
or a kill. Well,
ship.
When you're directly fighting a gravity well with a ship that big, telling people that you can shut off one of the two of the engines will get their attention.
Oh yeah.
So immediately.
So I think Armin's going to just like try to stifle the situation with these folks right now. Not the wreckers right now, but it's just going to be like, look, folks, this is bluster. You all know it. You're getting angry because you're just trying to put yourself in a better position for later. They've made their offer. Make your counteroffer. I'm just trying to sway them all into like, let's
and this is normal?
Yeah, let's not pull guns yet.
Okay.
This is tactic 1 out of the 51st Legion handbook. You're just upset because somebody else is using it.
That's fair. The people that are not there yet are the Starsmiths Guild, as like one of the big ones probably, and I'm gonna kind of focus on them because they're the ones probably blustering the hardest about this. So They are tier 3. And I'm calling that in here just as an influence, just because more as a gestalt representation of the resistance to listening to one small fry on a currently hostily targeted pontoon boat. They're just
Flimsy pontoon boat, please.
yeah. So it's T1 to tier T3.
I'm probably having 0 effect with my sway.
It's desperate, right?
Yep.
Because we're starting in desperate. So we're desperate with no effect.
Yep.
At this point.
Would my fine clothes help me with this?
Let me look. Maybe, but let me look. Let me look at. I see where you're going with this. Are you looking to like be considered a higher tier? Is that what we're going for here?
Yeah, because it's a fine item, so it would give me increased effect. And I feel like, hearing this from like somebody who's kind of like in your social strata will carry more weight than,
I think we'll combine that. Although, okay. I think we'll combine that with fine clothes and legitimate ID, like establishing the bona fides kind of thing, identifying yourself, et cetera, so forth, before you go into the spiel. Taking you up a tier to a tier 2. That at least gets you to a limited. That would get you to a limited, or get the penalty to a limited thing with the legitimate ID and the fine clothes. Like, this is the person, I'm talking your language. I am so and so.
Push myself up to standard then.
Push yourself up to standard. Okay, so that's a push. I have a devil's bargain though, if you want that instead of the push.
Well, I want to push myself for the increased effect.
Oh, I see. Well,
dice.
I'll hold the devil's bargain back for the extra dice then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So push yourself up to a standard.
Yep.
Oh,
And
so much stress. So much stress so soon.
Does anybody care if I spend one of the gambits to make
Please
go back?
Please do.
Sure.
By all means. All right. So there's a gambit there to give you dice. The devil's bargain is calling on your legitimate ID. Absolutely confirms the your identity and location for the Counters Guild, and we're gonna we'll tick that clock up like 2.
Tick that clock up.
Yeah. So and that'll give you 2 ticks on the Counters Guild Revenge clock, and that'll give you an extra dice on the devil's from the devil's bargain.
When you put the pool together, did you add my extra?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I already took it out.
Yep, he just moved the 3 down to a 2. You still have 2 more gambit dice, so we are rolling desperate standard.
Woohoo! I got a 6.
Very nice.
Nice.
And it was with one of the later dice, so we'll take that for what it's worth. Devil's Bargain bought you nothing, but somebody on a microphone somewhere going, go, 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 identity confirmed.
I don't care. I care more that I got to take up Resolve.
Oh,
desperate
from the desperate roll? Very nice. Okay, so I think... See, yeah. It didn't happen, and I'm interested in this because what I was really one of the Fallout things I was looking for from a 4-5 kind of result was pissing off the wreckers, because you're like, listen, people, they're bluffing. This is just basically their bid. They're bidding with their guns because that's what they've got. And
they don't have actual money. You people have money.
Right. So, I mean, piss off the record seemed like a straightforward thing, except they haven't been pissed off. And I'm going to attribute that to the fact that you said this is just the first move out of the 51st Legion. They're doing it before you could, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that you likened them to the 51st Legion doesn't make them happy, but it mitigates, it doesn't mitigate it.
Makes them less pissed.
Yeah, it doesn't actually, it keeps it from being a pissed off thing to going like, they're kind of like scowling, but at the same time, down deep, they're like, fucking right, man. 51st Legion. Yeah. Look at that. All we need is guns and engines on this damn thing, and people are comparing us to the 51st. Booyah. You know. So, but that's all. It's very much on the down low. There's some very surreptitious fist bumps going on the bridge of the Dreadnought. Okay. So We'll move the hegemonic patience thing down a tick. It is a 6, but all right. I guess what I'm looking at here. So a 6 would normally get you like what? I think like no, that's desperate though. Well, no, desperate doesn't matter. Does it? Oh crap! I can never remember the damn clock.
Standard effect.
Standard effect. 2 ticks.
It's normally 2 ticks
All
on
right.
the clock. But...
It's normally 2 ticks on the clock. So do you want 2 ticks off hegemony patience, or do you want to like? So here's some options. Like take a tick off the hegemony patience, and you could add a tick to the cult of the seekers. You could remove a tick off of piss off the Starsmiths Guild.
I feel like the best way to do this is take a tick off the hegemony and the Starsmiths Guild.
The pissed off part, or their.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna.
Because.
You were saying because.
Oh no.
Because it is a good thing to have them a little bit less pissed off, and mostly meaning that they're willing to. Who is at the same time talking to the wreckers? Who's your contact? Is it the doc person? Because who's your face? I mean, obviously Armin's being the face of this whole thing. Who is directly talking to the wreckers and saying, okay, you've made your point, now pull into low orbit. Seriously. WTF, guys. Like, who of you is, like, while Armin is doing this talk on the thing, is like, he's like, you know, making a few hand gestures going, go talk to them. Kind of deal.
Hey, you! Wreckers!
Monster, take care of this.
So, Monster.
In there.
I lost you for a second. Say what you were just saying. 1, 2, 3.
Me? Okay.
Yeah. Hang on. We're having one of those data, title data shifts.
Okay.
Nope. Hang on.
I can hear
On,
George just fine.
You can hear who just fine? Me?
You.
Yeah. Dave, say something again. Nope, still not.
Something again.
There we go.
Hey.
See, I think every so often the tide goes out for your data over at the house. I think it's just 3 of you strains things in that area for whatever reason. Okay, so Monster, what's going on? Nope, I thought we had you. We don't have you. Did we lose the whole consortium?
I think so. Our packet loss, at least on my end, is 0.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing
to
it. Well,
0.8%.
it's the problem. It's summer, and all three of them are all coming in from the same location. So if the router decides I need to lie down for a second, everything goes kerflooey for a fair number of people. Okay,
I can hear you.
we are red on. Aha! Maybe you're coming
I
back
can
up.
hear you.
Okay, I'm still showing you.
There we go. I heard
Wow.
you.
They're showing.
Okay, now I'm green. Yeah, we lost. I lost my Wi-Fi here at least.
Yeah.
So
I think with three of you in the house over the summer, I think every so often your router just is like, I need a lie down and a mint julep. And
Margie is talking and nobody can hear her.
That is correct.
Hang on.
there you
Oh,
go.
I can
Gotcha.
hear her.
Gotcha.
And I'm green.
Yep.
I'm green.
So yeah, we're look at that. Minor
Monster managed to intimidate not just the wreckers, but the actual whole Wi-Fi setup.
Yeah. The router was like, I need to lie down, a mint julep, and I want to get away from this scary man. Okay, so Monster. Sounds like you're throwing I was going to say thinly veiled, but really are they threats at the wreckers? With regards to backing the hell off kind of thing? Is that the general
Or
gist
are
of
you
things?
are you saying mean things about their mother?
That's an interesting question. Because he's not the kind of Monster doesn't do bluffs. So
yeah, but we could easily have somebody doing a helping role in here that is a flashback to you not bluffing because of doctoring to the engines that flashing back to doctoring of the engines several sessions ago, and Monster going, you need to back off or find out what we did to the engines before we gave them to you. Kind of thing.
right, that part, yeah.
And then it's Drifter, a flashback of Drifter and Sun, as they throw in helping dice, working on the engines and attaching a couple of very, very nicely hidden but menacingly blinking LED boxes, within the engine housings.
Beep beep.
On the way back, kind of deal.
I think these guys very clearly established that they're a trustworthiness, and so this feels like it's in character for us anyway.
Yeah,
so.
honestly, I don't even think it would really damage your relationship with them. At least not long term. It's all part of doing business, right? A little bit of insurance. We like you guys. We're not going to cut the engines. On the other hand, you are parked above our spot.
You're throwing shade on our party.
Some of us are trying to get a tan down here. You need to move. Anyway. So command, and I'm leaving the door open there for either or both Drifter and Sun to throw in, like, do take a stress and throw in an assist die.
I'll do that right now.
Me too.
Okie dokie. So yeah, we get a little shot of you guys like crawling over and doing diabolical things to the engine compartments from way back. How is this specifically worded, Monster? Like, what's the...
You need to back off, or else find out what was done to engines we gave you, or if you want to take on someone one-on-one, you come down in person, fight me.
Which isn't really so much a threat as just
Wishful thinking.
just Doctor or Monster kind of like hoping,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, you can come down and fight me instead, he said, hopefully. Which I like. All right. So that is then for you, Monster. A command roll You already have 2 aid dice. What's your command?
2.
2. So I get you up to 4.
Ooh, wait.
Are you threatening violence? Or is there
Um,
something with that?
it's we haven't done a show of force, but I'm trying to intimidate someone.
I mean, show of force will drop you into the ocean where you will burn and die is a pretty good
Well,
show.
I have to actually. There actually has to be a show of force. I'm looking at scary. So
No,
I gain
okay.
potency when trying to intimidate someone. If it's done immediately after a show of force, I also, take +1 die. But we haven't really had a show of force.
You've got a remote control. It's got a knob on it. You twiddle the knob a little bit, and their engines fluctuate.
Go, yeah. We've
Oh,
established
okay.
it. Now the flashback. Oh, we should talk about this. So because we've never really done flashbacks. How is it that we're 16 sessions in and really haven't done flashbacks? The flashbacks require.
lives in the moment. That's why.
Yeah. The flashbacks require, depending on the likelihood of the action, a fair amount, varying amounts of stress. This is definitely, it's anywhere from 1 to 3 or 0 to 3. I think, and I'm not going to try and find that page, but I know I'm close enough for government work as far as that goes. And I think this is probably on par because just based on the fact, I mean, I don't have a problem with the double cross kind of thing. However, the ship was being drugged back through space. So what we're really thinking, it isn't like you guys crawling over this thing in tank tops and sweat stained brows. You're like in vac suits and stuff while the ship is cruising towards the wreckers across the system.
I will point out that we had some debris and mines and rubble and things like that.
Sure.
Probably were spending time putting things back together and may have thought, hey, we should bury something in here.
Yeah. No,
where they won't easily.
I'm not saying it's unlikely. I was thinking 2 stress level, but I'm willing to be talked out of that or talked down to 1.
I'll pay 2 stress right now, no problem.
All right. Well then, yeah, let's have that be like a 2 stress. It's certainly not a 3. It's not like completely outside of the pale. And if you want, you could spread it between the 2 of you again. Sort of doing it, but it was Gan's idea anyway. So this firmly establishes the thing. Show of force. So they are tier 2, you're tier 1, but you potency pushes that up to where you're functioning basically at the same tier. And if it's done immediately after a show of force, so the little engine warble also take a +1d. I like it. That goes, and we get the lovely little flashback thing of you guys prepping this like, oh my God, that's why they were crawling around the outside of the busted ship back in episode 6. God dang. Stuff.
So it's the command roll. It's risky.
It's risky standard because it's not staged down at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you're rolling 5 dice because you got your 2 plus the 2 assist dice plus the extra dice for the show of force.
So 3 bonus dice.
3 bonus dice, correct. All told.
Alrighty, let's see how this works because damn. Commas.
Ooh.
Woo!
I think it works.
That is, and I love that the crit comes from that last dice from scary being brought in.
There are 3 6s.
Oh, there are 3. Oh shit. Well, hey, look at that. That's alrighty then.
Do I actually demonstrate that I can control the engines and make them go in orbit?
Yeah, you have a little bit of fun with the dial. Let's put it that way. Standard is 2, but a crit will push it up to 4. I think, yeah, pushes up to 4. Okay. As far as the effect goes, should have taken desperate. I like that. you have, and this is how I'm going to kind of spread it. You basically have 4 ticks on various clocks that you can move. Monster. Moving them up, moving them down, whatever makes the most sense. Obviously, a lot of that would go toward if they back off, moving down the wreckers ticks. You don't have to make them all go away because the wreckers have certainly established that they have skin in the game and want their claims take. They want the ship cut up in classic wrecker fashion. And that argument at least is going to carry some weight because they have a big goddamn ship with big guns like up in orbit. But you can certainly, by forcing them back into low orbit, sort of take some ticks off their clock as far as that goes. That might have an effect on the Starbreakers thing. You might make the Starsmiths Guild quite happy with you. The Cult of the Seekers would be appreciative. Where do you want?
I'm thinking that anybody could, it would raise our perspective with any of them.
Yeah.
By doing that, because it's like, damn, okay, they're players.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Between him doing this and asserting the fact that you can get the wreckers to back off is definitely going to be very good. So really, where do you want 4 ticks to go? I mean, if you want to leave them,
okay. So what's the overall?
There isn't
clock for this.
Yeah,
mission?
and so this is interesting. There isn't. We're not really doing. This is and this is what I mean by I've sort of kind of doing the mouse card thing where there's like, well, there's this many boxes that need to be ticked and then the mission is done. And that's not strictly speaking how the clocks have to work. So it's really more about the narrative. I'll just stop there. It doesn't have to be, oh, these ticks are in. And I say that both because somebody pointed it out to me, cough Mike, but also because when I try to make the narrative jam into the slices on the clock, it always feels clunky and it never feels very lively. So there isn't necessarily a clock to say, and now the job is done in this case. What there is by shaping these clocks a certain way, when we say, okay, we're wrapped up on this, and now the auction will proceed, you've created the shape of the way things will proceed. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, if you want the wreckers to back off, but they don't lose face, then they don't, and they still got their 3 ticks on there, and it's all about you potentially making nice with the Cult of the Seekers or the Starsmiths Guild or whatever, or the hegemony gets a lot more, their patience goes back or anything like that. It's really about how you choose to influence the it's not a chess game. It's a go board. So it's kind of where do you want this to affect the thing? I know that's much squishier than what we've been doing, but it's also a lot less like, that's why I didn't do a specific clock for, and now the auction concludes. You know what I mean?
So I'm okay with the breakers kind of staying where they are.
Okay. The star break. So we're.
The wreckers. I want the star breakers to get knocked back a pip.
One pip.
Well, let's make it. They're kind of the closest to going crazy here.
Yeah.
So let's take them down to.
Okay.
And.
God, I am so.
Hegemony patience is actually kind of okay at the moment.
Yeah. So you could.
Well, and any pluses we get, we can probably apply to that, right? That's something that we can have a lot of opportunity to touch.
Yeah, pretty much anything.
Anything
where you assert some control is going to be something where you can logically say, okay, well, everything's still under control. Give them space.
Are the Starsmiths kind of happy about what I've done here?
If you say they are, they are. So it's really about
I
who's
think they
happiest.
are because they definitely don't want the wreckers coming in and taking bits and bobs off of this ship, because who knows what effect that might have on how this property might be usable by them.
So you want them moved up too?
Um,
Because so the Starsmith Guild, I mean, they're going to be coming down and negotiating and stuff. They're not actually on the. I mean, if you want people are going to be. Go ahead.
There's two Starsmith Guild
So
clocks there,
yeah,
and one of them is sort of like advancing their agenda, and one of them is they're being pissed.
yes.
So I would like to at least relieve one of their pissedness.
Again, which we did on the last thing as well. So that's fine.
Well, it's only at 4 o'clock, so
yeah, that's fair.
They kind of get a chuckle out of this. So their mood is improved, even if they're still planning on coming in and winning whatever it is they're trying to do.
And I will point out that of all the big movers and shakers, with the possible exception of the Sun Eaters having like agents on the field, the Cult of the Seekers actually have like their official rep is on the pontoon, like is already on the boat. So they're particularly happy about. I mean,
the pontoon not sinking.
Yeah, if you want them warming up to you, by all means.
They've got a big clock there, so
they do have a big clock, but their clock is directly adjacent to some of your clocks. They're the ones who want to reopen the gate.
I'm not sure the monster wants to discourage them from that, but
that's what I mean. I mean, they're kind of.
Oh, you're suggesting like actually increasing their clock?
Yeah.
That
might be even better than not less pissing off of the Starships Guild to move them up a couple of ticks and kind of.
How many do I had 4 effects.
You have 2 more you could drop on them if you wanted to. Yeah, you move the Starbreakers down 2, and that's going to feed back to something that's going on with Drifter here in a second. And then you got 2 more. You could do 2 on the Cult. You could do 1 on the Starsmiths Guild and one on the Cult, so on and so forth. However you see fit.
I like the idea. I'm trying to think because I don't know that Monster's thinking that strategically in terms of the.
Well, this is very meta. This is the effect that Monster stuff has on the area.
Yeah, as a meta thing, I'm good with boosting the Seeker's chance. Kind of got a lot of ticks on there left to go.
The question is really 1 or 2.
Let's give 1 to them.
Yep. And that is all spent unless you want to take the 1 back out of the Starsmiths Guild being pissed off thing.
No, that's fine.
All right.
I'm good with that.
Then we've spent our 4. We're in good shape. And a lovely crit.
And I think the key here is that they know where that boost came from, right?
Yeah, I mean
our tally clock with them.
They're on much firmer ground, and it's because of you. Well, this really is somewhat. While this is also the goal, it's also these guys. Sometimes you do stuff that they consider to be a mission for them, even when you're not doing a mission for them. And actually, at one point, you were doing a mission for them when you didn't realize you were doing a mission for them. That was that one where it's like, well, that was the guy who was supposed to be from this thing, but later on we found out that they didn't even know what we were talking about. So who the hell did we make happy? And it was the Cult of the Seekers. So some of this is them sort of being warmed up to you, and some of it is you making progress on things that they care about. As I said, they want the gate open. So anyway, so Starsmiths Guild the thing, Wreckers, Starbreakers. The Drifter. I am looking at. Where's the dock? Son, where are you while all this is going on? Are you on the boat? Are you on the ship? Are you serving cocktails?
Yes, I'm not sure how much.
Very very laid back for this auction.
What's that?
What?
I said, get them all very laid back for this auction.
So cocktails
I-
in the colloquial sense of the word.
I can help schmooze.
Sorry, did I say that in my outside voice?
Okay, so
I can doctor people. I
There-
can put on my fine clothing and fine bedside manner.
there is Drifter. There is stuff going on in the ocean.
Besides us?
And the position is good because of the fact that we just moved down the position on some of this stuff on some of these people. Where you mentioned the ship being kind of out of scanner, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Harder to spot. I am down with that. What I am looking at is determining how well concealed from people you are with a skulk roll. Does that track? Because I'd kind of like to do
Sure.
that and see if that pulls off well. Then giving you the opportunity to kind of spot what kind of shenanigans are going on down here.
And by the way, I'm down with the ship because I want to be closest to the ruins.
Okay, so we've established that the two keys are on the ship then. Is that accurate? It seems like the best idea because every other idea is bad.
Yeah.
Monster's reluctant to say yes, but I will point out this, Kay. You've been able to identify pretty much how those things would slide together. Like I can't even, but they're kind of like two tuning forks, and they would really kind of go together like two tuning forks. It's fascinating. You can't wait to try it. But just throwing that out there. Okay, so we have a skulk roll. It's kind of weird because it's really almost a skulk roll plus like passive sensors and stuff like that. So since Margie jumped up real quick and said I'm on the ship also, if you want to assist with this with a study roll, or not a roll but with study, would totally make sense in this case because we're talking about how well did we hide away and also like what do we notice on the passive ship scans and that sort of thing.
I mean, I can do it with study or skulk since I have skulk. So
right.
I have one tick in both of them. So
In either case, it's really just you spend stress and give them an extra day. So it's all.
I would like to suggest some fiction that will let me use helm, which is that there's probably some sort of outcroppings under us or some sort of terrain. Under normal circumstances, the ship might drift and give itself away. What Drifter is doing is holding it in place to look like just more of that rock.
okay, so then maybe I'll do the skulk roll, or I'll add skulk to it to
So,
make it.
I am down with this, but what I'm gonna suggest is so this is gonna be this follows a one stress flashback to watching Drifter practice this during the previous week, like taking the ship in, testing the seals first of all, because we haven't seen the ship up to this point, right? And we like all this activity. Oh, I love this actually. So we got all this activity up on the pontoon, and then the camera goes underwater and down, and we see the ship. And then we get like a flashback of the seals.
And the tease is that as you're coming down, people are expecting to see the ruins or see the giant squid. Yeah.
And it's your ship, and it's slowly drifting kind of thing, and kind of minor little nudges in amongst all the various like higher outcroppings and that kind of thing, and we get flashbacks of the sealing work that got done to the ship, and hell, maybe even Coral, since we've already established him in the fiction or anything like that. But it's like, no, you can get the ship, you can establish it for underwater stuff, but you got to use the gravitic thrusters. Basically you turn your anti-grav into a push, and you're your artificial gravity into a G drive and just kind of use that to nudge you around. You just need to be near enough stuff to actually, make that happen, so on and so forth. So it's 1 stress of a flashback to establish that it's Helm that you're using. So basically I'm saying spend 1 stress and you can use Helm. That's
Okay.
the short version.
Um,
But we
rules
get to
is
see
written,
all this
player
stuff.
always is big, but yeah, that's fine.
What? Say again?
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
No. I want to. Tell me if I'm doing it wrong though. I want to know. Players always
Did
get
I
to
hear
see.
did I hear a bonus die from you, Margie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And I'm going to push myself for 2 more stress because I just burned off all my stress.
Oh, that's true. You have.
Glad
That
I
is a
did.
solid. Yeah, and the 6 comes at the end. That's lovely. Okay. So, and Margie was doing the skulk thing, so she's like really kind of giving you passive readings on upcoming rock outcroppings and things of that nature. And it's during that, like, picking things out that you're getting artificial signals or signals of artificial stuff, activity down here. And you're able to pick this out. So you kind of go totally silent and just kind of float as you're picking these things out. There's a few nudges to kind of turn the ship the right direction, really, to kind of get the reads. What you're seeing, and this
Go right again.
Did he cut out for everybody else?
did I?
Yeah,
So
I
what-
did.
how
not.
about us?
There we go. I'm connected.
Sorry, is it me? Are you guys hearing me?
What time it was? Yes, now we can.
Okay, I something spun up on my hard drive, and that's probably what caused it. So anyway, short version is once again Drifter gets this weird split experience of space living knowledge that is weirdly applying underwater. And what you're seeing on scanners, if you were anywhere near a space station, would be guys in single person repair tugs. Best thing I can think of is like Guardians of the Galaxy, those like little indestructible repair like dinguses that they were flying around outside of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like something like that, that are basically meant to be, repair things with like repair waldos and stuff like that. They are absolutely that. They are not MEM native like your ship. They've been retrofitted or modified or something like that to function underwater, and there's probably a half dozen of them sweeping through kind of underneath. Not, and this is the thing, is they're not worrying about the boat. They're under the space of the boat, but it's like they're looking for something. And they are absolutely the same exact model, make and model as the kind of stuff that gets used around the Wreckers Dreadnought. I mean, you look up there and you go, the Wreckers took some of their stuff from the dock area, retrofitted it, and are coming down through the water looking for us.
Can I suggest a course of action?
You can suggest all you want to suggest, by all means.
So Drifter, I look over and I say, I think it's time for Monster to give them another shake upstairs.
I think so.
Tell them to get their fleas off of our carcass.
Now that was a 6. So and we don't even have to have monster necessarily. No, yours was a crit. I was talking about.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, right.
Our Drifter's roll was a 6. Where do you want to take 2 ticks off of a clock? These are now, and to be really, really clear at a meta level, this is Starbreakers. The Wreckers, the little sub faction of the Wreckers, kind of using everything else as sort of a distraction to come in after you guys. So, but you've got 2 ticks to take stuff away, add stuff, what have you. Drifter.
I'm not 100% sure on what taking a tick away would mean in this context, but in general, I'll just say I'm hoping that the more moderate, cooler voices among the wreckers will prevail over the Starbreakers, and so if we call them out or if we call attention to shenanigans
Yeah.
and sort of go back to, hey, let's all play fairly, gentlemen. I think that would be the outcome that he wants. So he would probably inform Armin about this and let Armin make that sort of
Yeah.
executive call on what happens.
Their
That's, as a player, that's what I want.
No, absolutely. Their clock, if you talk about like what it would do, their clock, the Starbreaker clock specifically, is like basically capturing the ship so they can get your keys.
Okay. I think taking that clock back a couple ticks would be
Yeah. Yeah, just basically take all the steam right out of that particular
because
thing.
it's not only them. It's like whoever else is here does not want to be scooped.
Yeah.
And so drawing attention to that will put pressure on them from literally everybody else.
Yeah. Now you don't necessarily know what they're after, but they're obviously after you guys. The fact, and I'll say this again at a meta level, the fact that they know that you have keys to be gotten. Well, obviously this all goes back to them grabbing Frim as soon as he started to say the keys have been awakened and blah 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 blah. So they clearly pay him a lot more mind than anybody else other than Kay, for whatever reason. So, I think we probably have. Okay, the wreckers have backed off. Another little murmured, tight beam broadcast to the wreckers saying, and if you wouldn't mind, with the guys underwater, getting them out of my ocean, kind of thing. And maybe that's what you do with the next, but you've got the Starsmiths Guild grudgingly heading down with the shuttle to the ship, to the pontoon thing. The cult is there. There's a bunch of other people, obviously, also. A lot of surreptitious glances around the audience of people who probably representing various factions that you'd rather not even think about. I mean, there've got to be hegemony agents here. There've got to be, Counters Guild agents here. There've got to be Starless Veil. I mean, 51st Legion have got to have people here.
Can I make just an assumption
Sure.
that we have eyes on the pontoon from the boat?
You have eyes on the pontoon from the boat, from the ship.
They can see what's going on from where they are on the ship.
Oh, sure. There's a relay from like a body camera, anything like that. That's really not a problem. So what I'm thinking,
we're basically the emergency evacuation plan. So yeah, I think we would have to.
Yeah, and certainly open comms kind of thing. Anything that Armin says, or really anybody up on deck says, is probably going to be relayed back down to the cockpit of the ship, I would think.
Well, and I wanted to make it such that if one of us recognize somebody and we're not on the pontoon,
you can
we'll
go
have an opportunity to recognize them.
alert,
right.
alert. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm going to flip this around back to Armin and have you kind of set the stage as the people are finally gathered together, to officially announce. Well, do what you will here, but one of the options would be like to officially announce what is up for auction. Is this thing going out by pieces? Is this thing going out all at once? Blah 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 blah. However that's going to go, and do something to that effect. Go ahead.
So the way I see Armin piecemealing this out is, just sort of a, hey, here's what we have. submit your offers on what you want. It could be the whole thing. It could be parts of it. And it's basically more of like the reverse of a request for product here. It is him saying, we have all these things.
Is Armin wanting to min-max the profits?
Of
Well-
course, Armin is one of the profits. That wasn't even a question here, I thought.
No, it wasn't a question. It was just a statement of
So basically, the way he's presenting this to work is, you all submit your offers, and we'll, at the end of the process, we'll bring some people together. We'll make some negotiations.
Well, and officially
and some
officially the Memish government are acting as sort of arbiters. No, that's not the right word, but close enough. For the whole thing. So I don't know if I mean, that can all simply be stated. I'm wondering if we have a role for this, but the only real question I have is, do you, in sort of staging this thing, particularly want to tilt the field in favor of any of the factions on the field?
Ooh, I think right now the only thing Armin would do is, since he kind of has a feel of what was going to happen with the Counters Guild,
right,
from Drifter, it's going to be like, all right, so you can all make your offers, submit them here, and our friends over at the Counters Guild, and I don't know if he can. Does he see anybody he recognizes?
I mean, you have a contact.
I do have a contact, but that doesn't mean he's here. Also, he's a bit of an idiot.
But
that Armin sees that.
But he has minions. So
yes.
Yeah, you could pick his shmee.
Yeah.
So in the Captain Hook sense, not the SME sense.
Yes, his lackey.
His lackey. And our representative with the Counters Guild, finish what you were.
Yeah, it was just like,
will process all of the.
No, I just want it to be like, drawing attention to them to say like,
I know you're there.
I know you're here. Just one of those kind of smooth like call outs to be like, I understand you're here, and I know you don't want the ship.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
Are you actually then sort of rolling to push that clock back?
I mean, if I'm calling him out, it's more of like pushing it forward a bit.
I mean, that's fair.
Yes, I want them to take their revenge on my terms, not theirs.
So, what we're trying to do is jog their elbow.
Yeah, I see. You're kind of making them rush it or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about, I think it's Sway. Sway, wouldn't it be?
I'll sway him on this.
Is it? Consort is like a one-on-one kind of thing. Sway is really kind of the whole large group kind of a thing. I was having a conversation with Kaylee. We were talking about this game because she's struggled with me struggling with it, and I kind of came down to this. I think I don't know what I've done, but I've kind of aged away from systems with skills. I'm not in that headspace right now. Just identifying like, what the hell one do I use? Anyway.
Yeah, I'm willing to sway him on that.
Okay. So
how's my effect and position look here?
So if you're aiming at the Counters Guild, not great. You're starting out at, because we're in a pretty good position. We've had a couple of crits. Things are, I would say, I'm going to be nice about this. I'm going to say it's controlled standard, which is nice. But you're 3 tiers down from the Counters Guild. which puts you down. I mean, take 3 away from whatever, but it puts you down at like desperate limited, I think. Yeah, desperate limited, I think, by default, or whatever, risky nothing. But
yeah, I'll take desperate limited. Do my fine clothes help push me up here? And my legitimate ID.
the look on my face right now would probably make you really, really happy.
Really, really what?
Really, really happy.
Okay.
Sure. In this instance, it would make it's making your contact in the Counters Guild grind his teeth as he's watching the playback of this thing. But sure.
Is it
So
something that needs assistance?
desperate limited. So desperate limited with a point to put somewhere in terms of pushing that effect back up in some way.
Oh man, yes, Dave. If you want to throw something in there, I feel like this is more of like, and if our friends at the Counter Guild want to submit their proposal, which I'm not sure if they even do, I'll be in that office with my associate.
And monster.
Knuckle crack.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the Veer finger wave.
Oh, the little. That's even funnier. All right, but I love the knuckle crack too. Okay, so that's Sway. Dave, are you inclined to like drop a stress to assist?
Sure.
Is
I will drop a
what's
stress to
happening there?
assist.
Okay, so that's 3. And
Mhm.
are we desperate standard? Are we? No, sorry.
Desperate standard.
Desperate standard?
Yep.
All right.
And I got it.
Oh, because we should always talk about we should always talk about the consequences, because the consequences, of course, is everyone's like, he spotted us, go, go, go. In this case, it's he spotted us, back off.
Which might disrupt the party a little bit.
Yeah, you think?
I was about to say, yeah, disrupt the
Knife.
party. I don't care.
Not if I'm doing my job right.
Yeah, everyone else is like, hey, cool. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so right, you guys repair to the sort of viewing deck that overlooks the whole thing and is parenthetically like hardened, blaster-proof glass kind of thing, while various parties confer with their people who are actually in charge up in orbit, in various places or on distant continents or whatever, as the bids start. You're barely sat down when the first couple of bids and proposals start coming in, and we
I
will.
feel like there are probably other shenanigans going on amongst them too.
Oh, there's tons of other shenanigans. What I am probably going to do, what I think I'm going to do, is I am going to reflect a lot of this by doing a kind of a deep dive on factions making advancements toward their goals with this, like sort of between play, and see how people, how the various factions thing and move up, and that will sort of indicate, based on how those dice come out, how the bidding came out. So the Wreckers get good stuff and the Starsmith Hill don't, then they missed out on some stuff. That kind of thing, and kind of spread out. I think having the ship divided up piecemeal is really about the only result that the hegemony is likely to allow. Nobody's going to walk off planet with the whole bloody thing. That's just not going to happen. Least of all them, honestly. House Melkaith doesn't want to have this thing sitting in his hangar. Flat out doesn't. Because as soon as he does that, he's important enough for the hegemony to send some people in. Directly. So, yeah, he doesn't want anybody else to have big pieces of it, and he doesn't want big piece of the whole thing. Not really. Because he can't keep it.
So, Joyce, now I'm going to ask you the funny question.
All right.
Did we finish a mission in one session?
Yes. I think so. Yes. I think even if I'd have had a clock for it, with all of the successes you guys had, I could have put a 12 clock up there, and if you guys had just advanced it, it probably would have done the same thing. I like this better, though, because it gives me a much better picture of where everybody's sort of standing on everything is. The Starbreakers got shut down again. They're not best pleased about that.
I feel like eventually we're just going to make them where they have like no pull whatsoever in the records, and they spin off into their own tier 0 faction.
It's very, very close to that at this point. And the annoying thing is that at this point in time, if they did do that, they're kind of working at a disadvantage against you, and they have sort of been doing that anyway. Okay, so yes, we did. We wrapped up the thing, and we are going to. It's getting kind of late, but we are going to at least do a few of these things here at the end and get people the paid. Where in the hell? Oh, I didn't go far enough. Oh my God. There we go. Well, the payoff is massive. Yeah. I think I had pretty much established that this was basically a 10 cred job, and narratively speaking, with everybody doing this and everybody basically being kept in the zip code of honest, money's going to be pouring in as far as any of that goes. So yeah, treasure trove enough. So yeah, we'll drop that in with 10 cred.
So I will say out of that, everybody just take a cred.
And drop that into your cred thing, because that gets us down to 5 cred then left in the ship.
Yeah.
And some of that immediately, at least one of those goes straight into the stash or something? Or
we don't
something?
have a vault, but
Oh,
we need to spend it before the end of the session.
Which shouldn't be a problem because there's upkeep.
Or the end of downtime.
Which is,
And
again...
One of them will immediately go to upkeep.
Right. And I think that entirely makes sense just because you guys have been doing a bunch of weird stuff to the ship, to be perfectly honest. So we won't have to worry about that. So that leaves 4 sitting in the ship, 1 spent on upkeep, cred for everybody.
We could give out another cred to everybody if we want to do that.
Rather than keeping them in the ship.
Actually, yeah, that sounds like a better idea. Everybody take another cred.
I thought there were 4 cred left.
Oh no, there was 5 cred left.
Well, rather
we had 1 cred from the previous job.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. There's 1 still from the same thing. So yeah, you can yeah. That leaves you with no cred on the ship currently. Everybody gets 2 cred and the ship's upkeep is handled.
Yep.
Done and done. We're not worrying about it.
I'm mostly amused by the fact that that's only twice what I got doing odd jobs at port during downtime.
But it's split by everybody. And
I realize that. So basically,
odd jobs are good.
I could have sold 1/10 of an ship and gotten as much money.
Yes. I don't know. Cred's weird. Abstracts are... Money is complicated. Man, heat...
we probably pissed somebody off.
I mean...
It wouldn't be a good mission if we didn't.
Yeah.
See, smooth and quiet is 1 heat. It's not smooth. It wasn't quiet.
No.
Loud and chaotic. It was loud, but it wasn't chaotic.
So, what's the difference between loud and chaotic and
2 heat?
Smooth and quiet.
Probably 2 heat. Because smooth and quiet is 1 heat. Loud and chaotic is 4. Contained. Standard exposure. Sure. Call it 2 heat. Well, so say 2 heat plus high profile. Public use of artifacts. Yes, you're selling them.
Which system are we in?
Mem. Or not, sorry. Whatever one mem is in.
Let me get our map away.
Let me get back over to the other map. There was a lot of stuff. I needed a separate screen. Holt. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we are in Holt.
Yep, you're in Holt.
There's a
Okay.
convenient gate here, or could be.
So that's 3 heat. Nobody killed any hegemonic citizens.
I'm sorry, 3 heat or 2?
It's 2 plus 1 for the high profile and public quote unquote use of artifacts. That's yeah. So yeah, 3 heat added to the Holt system. Dial that. Tick, tick, tick. That gets a little bit. Let's just say your faces are very easily recognizable there right now.
Well, so they, are they easily recognized by the groups that are specifically looking
Yes.
for us?
But to be
Okay.
fair, they're the ones with the money and the guns, so that's kind of.
Yeah. But it's not like, you walk into a bar, oh, hey, I saw you on
Yeah.
CNN.
Yeah. Not so much that.
You walk into a bar and people around the corners kind of glance at you and then talk to each other in low voices.
Yeah. Entanglements. Ooh. Okay. All right.
Roll
Let's
that
try.
again.
Roll that again. Jeez. Oh. All right. So the entanglements is reprisals. Somebody's really not happy with it. An enemy faction moves against you or yours. Pay them 1 cred per tier. Allow them to mess with you or fight back. If you have no faction with negative status, that's not going to be a problem. You avoid entanglements right now. I am torn, and I might have to think about it. I'm torn between I got to switch back over now. It's not going to be obviously this a decision, obviously, because I'm not an idiot. But I'm torn between the Starbreakers making a move or the Counters Guild, like going, all right, we're gonna let them get off, pat themselves in the back, head off planet, and then go for it. I'm torn between which do you guys find more compelling or funny? I'll accept funny. For reprisal. Starbreakers for you guys busting their chops yet again as they try to make a move on you guys and they just get desperate and go for it, or the Counters Guild?
Bill, what do you think?
Because this is going to
I'm kind of
happen.
looking for an excuse. I'm kind of looking for an excuse to beat those guys up again. So.
Oh, the
Counters Guild?
wait, which guys?
Oh no, the
Starbreakers?
faction within the Wreckers.
Yeah, but
Starbreakers.
all that said, I don't think that we've actually seen the Counters Guild like have an actual presence. So, like, do we want to? Let's. I actually want to see the Counters Guild come out.
Yep. We
Like
can have
you set that up. Let's pay that off.
Yeah, that's good. I like that, and I think they have a kind of. I mean, Armin has established through his very presence what the culture of the Counters Guild has to be like, to a certain extent. I want to see what those guys look like when they decide to
fighting against a bunch of Armins.
When they decide, I want to see what that looks. Well, actually, Mike has shared what it looks like when they allegedly try to attack, and it's one of the best scenes ever from Borderlands. But in this case, what does it look like when they decide to get serious? I mean, they are tier 4. They're scary. It's not going to be when the accountants come after you.
That's going to be the question.
Outside their normal thing of operations. So.
I can see a couple of different ways they could tackle this in terms of, they could simply hire people to do something.
Yeah.
Or they could.
They could hire your good friend, Monster.
That was my idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
or they could do something where they start ruining our credit.
You don't
get
have
other
any credit.
Maneuver
Have
other
you seen our credit? What?
Well,
I want to see. I love the idea of them like hiring every assassin around, including several that, that are like Monsters. Like, but why are you shooting at me? We're friends. Yeah, but that was a lot of money. Anyway, so yeah, let's go with we're gonna deal with reprisals from the Counters Guild. I am down with that. And then that's it. We're gonna run real quick. Through XP, and we're done. Quick to the ship. To the ship. It's
Transporter smuggling. Nope.
No. Contend with challenges above your current station. Yes.
Yeah.
There he is.
Bolster your crew's reputation, develop a new one. Yes.
Yes.
Ballsy. Stupid, but ballsy. Express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential. Yeah, like that. Mike's already checking it. It's just done.
I mean, we did the thing we were supposed to do.
We did the thing you're supposed to do. Armin, you addressed a tough challenge with deception or influence. Sure. You expressed your beliefs, dives, heritage, or background. Yes. You did not struggle with issues from your vice or trauma. Nobody ever struggles because I'm terrible at this job.
Oh no, we have just been very good with our stress.
You addressed it.
I've thought about taking some trauma, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay, you addressed a tough challenge with charm or audacity. You were actually, I mean, for all that you were absolutely engaged in everything, you didn't actually have a lot of rolls. Did I not have you roll? Oh, you did at the beginning, and they were terrible.
And did some support work.
Yeah,
I did a couple of support, and the rolls I did was on my
on your thing. So take an XP there on your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background, and struggle with issues from your vice or trauma. Yeah, I can't use my vice to get rid of my trauma. No. Drifter, I am going to make you. I promise you, Drifter, I am going to attack you in space.
Thanks.
Well, I mean, I want you to be able to do that. Okay, so address the tough challenge with speed or flare. I loved the imagery of the ship, kind of like, you know what? I don't know if you've seen how far you've seen The Expanse, but there's a bit in one of the later seasons where a guy is like establishing speed records, and they do this with like they do it by using gravity wells to sling themselves around various planets. Like it's just stupid amounts of math, and kind of almost doing that kind of using the flows of the ocean kind of thing, and seeing that skill transplanted from space lanes. In a weird way, it's a lot like navigating the way lanes. There's a lot of that sort of water flow kind of feel, and I love that imagery.
What it made me think of, and what I couldn't find a good GIF for, was in Hunt for Red October, when they're kind of running the trench.
Oh yeah. Exactly. I love that. That's a great idea. A great image there. So if nothing else, I don't know about tell me about the beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I'll accept anything you might have there. But definitely speed or flare, emphasis on the flare, just because I love that image of the ship kind of.
I'll just take the one, it's fine.
That's cool. I heard a beep. That was 1 XP for K. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to make sure I had that right.
Yes. Monster. You addressed a tough challenge with force or threats. Yeah, you threatened a dreadnought.
A couple
times. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think, yeah. I liked your the whole thing about the why you're diving deeper into the attune thing, honestly, and how that all ties back into where you feel like you need to be going and stuff. I really kind of
I just enjoy pulling in Chunzai.
Oh, Chunzai. Yeah, that was also awesome. That was just really good. And Sun. You address a tough challenge with insight or compassion. Yeah. I like that we always find out more about. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. Take a ping from that. We got some nice stuff with you. It's I love, actually, because otherwise I would hate it. The glimpse, how much we see of the characters in downtime and the stuff that we do in downtime. There's a lot of really nice opportunities in there, and again, we got to see more of that with the doc, with pretty much everything you were doing. I'm going to raise my sway so I can, get good at socializing. By that I mean ending conversations quicker.
That's what I'm doing right now, so
I like it. All right. So that is that. And I have apparently some video editing to do. So I'm going to, at least to chop out that first, like dead space at the beginning of this thing. And either that or I'm going to upload it anyway and just say in the description, there's 5 minutes of dead space at the beginning. Fast forward. Anyway. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I don't think there's anything weird coming up next week. Does anybody have anything weird next week?
We're good.
All right. So, barring all that, we will see you